Good evening, everyone. So, welcome to my page, and I'm very excited for this because this is my first live sesh for the year, and there's never a better time to do this because we have a really good time. We have too much time to just ponder upon things and look at our lives as we go along during this pandemic. So, welcome, and I hope you stay with me for a couple of minutes, and I hope that you will be able to learn a little bit or learn a lot. That would be good. So, hi. Hi, everyone. So, feel free to post your comments below if you have any. If you just want to say hi, please feel free to to say hi. I will be reading them later on. So thank you so much for thank you so much for your support for this live sesh. All right. So as we're growing, wow, thank you. We already have 12. We already have 12 in the audience. All right. So I will be removing the comment section, so I won't be seeing any of your comments at this point in time. But as we go along, feel free to post a comment or leave a message, and then I'll get back to you after this talk. So again, the live session for tonight is all about the top 10 tips 10 tips in motivating yourself during the lockdown. And the first question that I would like to ask all of you is, Kamusta? How are you guys doing? I know it's been challenging to stay at home. Actually, it's very challenging to stay at home. The fact that the challenging part is really not so much about staying at home. The challenging part is that you have to accept that you cannot go out. I think that's what's driving people nuts these days. The fact that they have no they have no freedom of movement. I think that's the term. So how are you guys? I hope you're all happy with your lives. I hope you're enjoying this time of the year. It's almost summer, I know. Everyone's been dying to go to the beach, but whatever. We can do that later on, don't worry. After the lockdown, we'll all do our best to go to the beach and enjoy summer. So every single time that I I start my class, I always ask people what do they expect to learn from the class or from the subject that we're about to discuss. So this time I will be telling you what you can expect. I will be talking about motivation, and to be able to understand what is it that drives people to do things. Let's first describe what motivation is all about. So, motivation is coming from the Latin word motivus, which means motive or reason, and ation is coming from the word action. So, in its plain sense, when we are talking about motivation, we are talking about a reason to move or a reason to do. So there are two types of motivation, and I always tell this to my students that there are two types of motivation. The first one is intrinsic motivation, and the second one is extrinsic motivation. And intrinsic is really coming from the inside, while extrinsic is coming from the outside. So just to give you an overview or an example of what intrinsic motivation is all about, intrinsic motivation is this. I'm working so hard because I like to get promoted at work. So that's an example. So why is it intrinsic? Because you know that if you get promoted, you will you will earn pride from it. Your ego will be fed. Okay, and of course you'll have a monetary compensation for it. So that's an intrinsic motivation. No matter what happens outside of your realm, you know that you are driven, right? But extrinsic motivation is a different is different, of course. So when we are talking about extrinsic motivation, it's all about the forces outside of your head, outside of your body or whatever. Okay, so it's outside of you. It's beyond your control. For example, I want to get promoted because my bosses expect me to be promoted because they're about to resign or they're about to retire. So the pressure or the motivation is really coming from people aside from you. It's not your own. Your motivation is driven by external factors. So most of the time, if not like all the time, people are really driven internally. So if you this is a good example of motivation. In my sales team, I usually ask them, why are you working? Because you have to know why are they working. And each time that I ask them that, I let them write down notes. And you have to list down what are the things that drives you to work really hard. Most of the time, of course, it's their families, it's their kids, their husbands, their wives, their parents, or whatever. And each time they feel like they're demotivated, or I feel like their sales are dropping, I would go back to their motivation. These are the things that you said that you're working for. So I remind them that. I don't really have to pressure them that, if you don't work, you're not going to get paid, etc., etc. You're not going to earn commissions, etc., etc. That's extrinsic. I'm more focused on the intrinsic motivation because, even if you don't really push people to do things, they will do it eventually because the motivation is coming from within. So I hope this part's quite clear. All right. So, yeah. Okay, so again, I've basically established what motivation is all about. So I'm going to talk about the tips in motivating yourself during the lockdown. Okay, first, I don't know if everyone is aware, but everyone should stay home as much as you can, unless there's an emergency or you have to go grocery shopping. But aside from all those things, you have to stay home. So yes, we are in a lockdown, but that doesn't mean that we don't have other things to do at home. So these are the things that we can actually do. So the first one, okay, so I said 10, right? So the first one is to calm down and cooperate. Okay, calm down. Okay, never in the history of mankind that when you tell anyone to calm down, they actually calm down. Okay, so it's very rare that when you tell a person to calm down, they actually do. So yes, even though it's a cliche, I will tell you to calm down. Okay, so calm down and cooperate. Okay, cooperate with the government. If people are telling you to, if the government is telling you to stay at home, please stay at home. Calm down. You can binge watch your favorite movies, your favorite TV shows, or whatsoever. You can do a lot of things at home. So just cooperate with the government for the meantime, right? Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is to observe around you. Okay, observe around you. These are the guide questions. What are the things that you have now that you're grateful about? Okay, I'll give you an example. I used to not like the kitchen. I've been very vocal about not liking cooking. I really dislike the kitchen because it's something that, I don't know, it's just not a part of my system. I don't like cooking. I don't like the kitchen. But recently, I figured that I should be grateful that I have a kitchen to begin with. Like, not everybody gets to have a kitchen that they can cook in, right? So I think that's the first thing that I really appreciated these days, that I have a kitchen and I can cook. So the second tip that I'm giving you is to just observe around you. What are the things that you're grateful about that you actually have at home, right? Probably you have a bed. Well, that's good for you. Not everyone sleeps on a bed tonight. Some people are in the hospitals. Some people are probably lying on the floor. Some people are probably on the streets. They're not even sleeping because they're watching over us. They're watching for us in the checkpoints, right? So be grateful that you have a bed. You probably have air condition. You probably have electric fan. That's good. At least you have ventilation, right? So just observe around you. What are the things that you can be grateful for that you actually have, right? And the things that you have, even though you didn't really ask for it, right? So you have your family with you. You didn't ask for them, but you have them, right? So play with your kids, say hi to your mom and dad that you haven't been seeing for the longest time because you've been so busy working. So there are a lot of things. Like play with your dogs probably. If you have dogs, if you have cats, they probably miss you. You just don't know it because, of course, they cannot talk, but get the point. And okay, number 3 is realize that this situation is not, I repeat, forever. Okay, forever. There's no such thing as forever. So this situation is not forever. It will be gone. I'm not sure when, but I'm for sure it will be gone for sure. That's what I'm sure of. But if only we will all cooperate with the government and with the preventive measures that the government is implementing. Okay, so realize that this situation is not forever. That's a third tip in motivating yourself. Okay, number 4, keyword on number 4, own your life. Okay, what are the things that you can do while you're in lockdown? Okay, what are the things that you can do? There's a lot. Okay, you can try learning a new language if you want to learn Korean probably. I'm sure some of you guys who are watching right now are actually watching Korean novellas. You can probably learn to speak Korean in a month. Yeah, because if you're learning about a new language, it only takes at least around 100 hours to learn a conversational piece for a particular language. So 100 hours would mean at least around 10 days, like 10 hours per day. For 10 days, you already have 100 hours, right? So you can try learning a new language. You can probably try sewing. You can probably try knitting. You can probably try cooking if you don't know how to cook. Like some of the people that I know, I'm not a good cook, but I know how to cook, but I'm still learning. So it's actually a good time to be cooking, right? Okay, and if there's really nothing that you can do at home, just sit back and relax. Because, we still have 20 days in Manila for the community quarantine. Well, I don't speak for everyone. In Manila, we're already on our 10th day of the community quarantine. So I'm not sure in other regions. Probably you're on your day 2, day 5. I don't know. But again, you have time to sit back and relax. After too many activities, after too many daily activities, we tend to forget how we can actually relax. So just sit back and relax. This is the best time ever. You can idle as much as you want. So this is the perfect time for that. Another thing that I would like to highlight is don't feel guilty that you're not productive. I read so many articles about people feeling guilty about themselves because they're not productive. Don't feel guilty. I'm telling you this right now. Nobody's expecting you to be so overly productive because we're currently in a period of time where we're pretty much not expected to be as utterly productive. If we're going back to going back to work after a month, that's probably where they will be expecting us to be overly productive or to be productive in a sense. But at this point in time, don't feel guilty, don't feel bad that you're not doing anything. That's fine. But of course, this does not apply to everyone. You have to be productive if you're an elected official of the government. You have to be productive at this point in time. But for the normal regular usual citizens, yes, we can be idle at this point in time. Okay, that's and then number 5. We're already on the 5th one. So name the things that make you happy. I've always loved Peter Pan's uh, what's this? Peter Pan's, was it dialogue? Peter Pan's punchline of whenever they have to fly, he would always remind everyone to think of a happy thought. Whenever I feel down, whenever I feel bad, whenever I feel disappointed, or whenever I feel any negative emotion, I would remind myself this message. Think of a happy thought, because there's a lot of things that's going on around us. It's really so hard for us to be focused on the positive things. But just think of one happy thought. It may be, sometimes it's even, for me, sometimes it's even just thinking about my favorite ice cream. That's how mababaw I am sometimes. So just think of a happy thought. Okay, so because at this point in time, there's a lot of negative things, and this is actually the main reason why I did this, is to just shed some light on everybody else's paths, because everyone's been really stressed about reading the news and thinking about the virus and stuff like that. But really, worrying doesn't bring us anywhere. Worrying about things or being anxious about things doesn't really bring us anywhere, except on the first point where you started. You're just going around in circles, worrying about things, and then you go back to the first point where you started, and then eventually you become stressed, and then that's where the problem begins. So instead of worrying, pray and think of a happy thought. Okay, number 7. Am I correct? Okay. Oh, no, sorry. Number 6 would be always self-check. Okay. Let me just explain to you why I had to include always self-check. Okay. I think 2 days ago. Okay, I lost count of the days, but whatever. So I was watching this movie, and there was this part where they hugged each other, like a group hug, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's social distancing. They should observe social distancing. I was so shocked. And after being shocked, I was like, wait a minute, this is a movie. Why am I thinking about social distancing about a movie, right? So after 5 seconds, I realized that, oh, okay, there's really an impact. There's really this social distancing thing, this pandemic thing, this virus thing actually has a subconscious impact. So at that point in time, I had to stop. I had to pause the movie and stop and think about why I was thinking about social distancing while I was watching a movie. Because it's weird, because you shouldn't be, right? So we should actually be thinking about positive thoughts, and then there I was watching a movie thinking about social distancing. So I had to include on my 6th tip to always self-check, because it's not it's this quarantine thing is not easy. Of course, it's not easy for our mental health. So we have to be more self-aware, and we have to really check ourselves. A few minutes ago, I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was saying that she's already talking to herself, and the more scary part is that herself is actually responding. So she was laughing about it, and I told her, take care of your mental health. On a serious note, you have to really check what's going on in your head every now and then. Okay, number 7. Okay. Number 7 is to verify facts. Okay? Stop reading or sharing fake news. Okay? Because the first and foremost, it's not healthy that you are reading something that's not true. And then second, it's not healthy for the person you're going to share it with. So, stop reading or sharing fake news before you even read it, you have to verify the authenticity of the article. There are so many authentic websites that you can check from. For example, if you wanna check the status of DOH, you just go to DOH. The status of COVID virus, you just go to DOH website, and there's a lot of other reliable websites that you can check. Of course, the mainstream news channels, you can also check them out, so that you're not in panic that you're reading something that's fake. Okay, so also again, do not share it if it's not verified. Okay, number 8, instill the importance of a positive attitude. Okay, so I think I've said this so many times. I've been doing live sessions since 2017, and I think I mentioned this several times already. For those who have been constant viewers of my page, I was unfriended by a friend of mine. I mean, she was a classmate from grade school, and she had to unfriend me because I was annoyingly positive. So, because she said I'm so annoyingly positive that she hates it. Okay, so she unfriended me. She blocked me, I think, on Facebook. But anyway, that's my point is this. Being positive does not mean that I don't have a problem or we don't have a problem. Being positive does not mean that we shouldn't be checking our surroundings, the negative things that's going on. No, that's not what positive attitude means. What positivity means is that we ought to find solutions than problems, and we look at opportunities rather than the struggles, because the more we look at the solution, the more we look at the opportunities, the more we feel motivated to move and to do things, right? But if you keep on going to if you're going to look at the negative side of things, if you haven't really noticed it, the more you look at the negative things, the more negative things come up. So negative attitude brings about more negativity. So let's stay positive. And what number am I? Okay. Is this number 8? I think this is number 8, right? Okay, number 8. Remember your SMART goals. Okay, remember your goals. Goals have to be SMART. And to some of my students here, I believe you've already heard this from me, but I'm gonna say it again for everyone. And for those of you who are not aware of the SMART goals, SMART means specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. So if you have a goal, at this point in time, well, you can also send me a message after this if you want to dive in to how to create a SMART goal. So you can also send me a private message. Feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to help you out in doing this. But when at a time like this, technically we have too much time. I don't speak for everyone, I know, but we have time right now to just take a step back and look at the goals that we want to achieve, and what are these goals, and how do we achieve them after the quarantine or after the lockdown. Because there are so many things. For example, for businesses, what are the things that you can do to bounce back from this hardship that we've faced because of the pandemic, and stuff like that. So if you're a student, you can also ask yourself, what are your goals? What are the things that you want to achieve right after this lockdown? You can probably achieve them while you're in lockdown, actually. So if you are still studying, or you're studying from home, you have more time to read books. If you're still reading books, I'm so old school. You're probably reading ebooks by now, the younger generations. So there you have so many things that you can do. So you can plan for your next move during the lockdown. So just write them all down and work it out, so that right after the quarantine and the lockdown, you can automatically move or do the step-by-step procedure for your for the implementation of your goals. Okay, next is understand that everybody is going through the same thing. I think one of the things that's so hard for us to accept is that we feel like we're alone. Actually, we're not alone. The entire globe is on a lockdown or in a quarantine. At least, I mean, not all, but yeah, most of the countries are now in lockdown or in quarantine. So don't feel that you're going through this alone. Everyone is going through the same thing. We don't have freedom of movement. We cannot go out. We cannot there are so many things that we cannot do because of the lockdown, but that doesn't mean that we're going through it alone. Everybody is experiencing the same thing, right? So don't feel bad. Another thing that of course in connection to that, you can also unplug if you must. Unplug from social media and negativity. I've had so many conversations that I had to leave because I cannot take the negativity anymore. There's so many negative things around us, and if we keep on focusing on the negativity, like in social media, I've unfollowed so many negative news, too morbid news, like okay, I won't mention anything anymore. I might be stepping on somebody else's toes, but just unfollow if you need to. Just unplug if you need to. Be mindful of what goes in your head or what's going on around you. You have to surround yourself with positive things so that you feel so that you will feel lighter, that you're not carrying the world in your shoulders. And of course, the last thing is to hold on before I go to my last last item. I would just like to ask, did anyone actually wrote down what I said? That's already, I'm already on my 10th. So this one is actually on my 11th. And if you can guess, what's the top 10 that I've said? If any one of you wrote down, I will be giving you a book. Okay, after the quarantine, I'll have it delivered to your to your home address. Okay, if you have guessed. Okay, I'll wait for your answer, like in 5 seconds. Can anyone enumerate everything? So this is like a class, right? So can anyone enumerate everything that I've said? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, nobody wrote it down, so nobody won a book. Okay, I've actually already said 10. Yeah. So this is the bonus tip. Okay, this is share positivity and share what you can, whatever it is that you can share. Share your light, share your positivity, share your laughter, share your smile. Probably you can also share your TikTok if it's worth watching. Their TikTok videos are really so cute that I love indulging in watching them. So they're really cute ones. So you can also indulge in that. So share whatever it is that you can. There are always things that you can share. If it's not a thing, you can also share a smile. Okay, so just share positivity. You never know who out there needs it, right? Okay. So yeah. So for those of you who have just arrived, hello, thank you so much for you can do a replay of this. Yep. You can do a replay of this. I will be posting it on my page so that you can still watch them from the very beginning, just in case you missed it. Also, okay, so actually the entire tips in motivating yourself is actually coronavirus. So letter C, calm down and cooperate. O is observe around you. R is realize that this situation is not forever. O is own your life. N is name the things that make you happy. A is always self-check. V is verify facts. I is instill the importance of a positive attitude. R is remember your SMART goals. U is understand that everybody is going through the same thing. And letter S, share positivity. All right, so, oh, hi, my book. No, I was asking for the list of all the things that I've said. Okay, so so that's the top 10. Hello, sir. Yeah, I'll be deciding on the book next time, but this will be my first sesh, so I'll still be having other live sessions after this. So hopefully by Thursday at 8 p.m. So if you're really, if you're really into watching watching live sesh, if this video makes you happy, or if this video gave you a little bit of better insights about what's going on, feel free to send me a message, so that I will also be inspired to create more contents, because it's really hard to create content. Okay, so anyway, before I leave, let me thank my sponsors. I'd like to explain why I'm wearing my PJs. This is, of course, sponsored by Kelsey Babywear. You can follow them on Facebook. It's Kelsey, Kelsey Babywear. Thank you so much for my PJs. And of course, I'd also like to thank my forever sponsor. Thank you so much, Eco Village. I really love their box. It's their shampoo bars box. So I really love this. Hi, Rochelle. Thank you so much for the soaps. They really smell so good. And of course, my major sponsor for tonight is ArtZap. Thank you so much. Actually, I would like to thank Renalise Trajano of ArtZap Studio, because she is really the she's really the best person to thank for today's session, because even before I decided to do a live sesh, she already created a poster for me. So that's the poster that you've been seeing, the colorful poster. That's her creation. Thank you so much, Renali. And I hope you can do it again for me on the next live session. And of course, again, thank you so much to all the viewers. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope that you can also suggest or recommend some topics that you would like to hear, about. And again, thank you so much. Stay safe, stay at home, keep on praying, because everything will be better soon. The best is yet to come. God bless you always and always. Thank you so much.